Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshughavanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The meaning of this invocation prayer is, I offer my prostrated obeisances at the feet of my Guru, by whose grace I was enlightened, and whatever I share with you, little knowledge I possess, that is all his blessings upon me. First of all, I wish to thank Priyanka Madam for making this club such a successful club. Uh, so many students, I have been always watching this club growing year by year. And although many students have passed out and gone to different parts of the world, this club always has been overflowing. Very happy to meet all of you today. This topic of mind is a very interesting, at the same time very relevant and important topic for our lives. And harnessing mind power. There are many things in this world which are very gross, and they can be captured tangibly, and you can take action on them. Things which you think, like for example, you are driving a vehicle, if something goes wrong in the vehicle, you can spot out by troubleshooting. There are even troubleshooting softwares you have in an automobile, and you can fix it immediately. But the mind is such an elusive thing, very tricky thing. There are so many different facets of mind today you will come to see today. Therefore, this has been always a topic of great interest to many people. For example, I'll tell you, one man went to a doctor and said, sir, many people in my family complain that I get very angry. So, can you please give me some medicine to cure this anger? He said. So, doctor asked him, okay, please tell me when all you become angry. He said, who are you to ask me that? He said. Doctor said, now I understood. I will not ask you any more question, he said. So, you can see that anger, where does it reside? It resides in the mind. Similarly, mind has many other aspects also, which are stocked in the mind, just like softwares which are stored in a hard disk. So, first of all, today I'm going to devote 3-4 sections of this slides about what are the different things in the mind. Don't get frightened by seeing the problems of the mind, because what will follow that is also the solution. Okay. So, like this, 10 headings I have given in this, but each heading has one primary focus. So I will say a few words and then only I'll enter to the slide so that you can look what is going to come ahead. So recognizing the need for managing our mind. Whenever you speak on any topic, unless you have the hunger for the topic, you will not be able to plunge deep into the topic. So why at all we are talking about the mind today? What is so important about the mind, you will see here. There are many things. For example, you send somebody to your garden. 2 students I sent to your garden. They came back and told me. One said the garden is full of thorny bushes, he said. Another fellow said the garden is full of fragrant roses. Now, who is right? The first one or the second one? Both are right. But both chose to see something. And that goes to show their attitude, you see. So that is the attitude of the mind. Similarly, I heard a story of an elephant. When he was a baby elephant, he was tied to a pole, which was just a bamboo pole. But when he grew up, he never moved out of that pole. Always he was standing there and eating grass, not going anywhere else. Other elephants asked him, why are you not leaving this place? He said, I'm tied to the pole. What can I do? They said, now you are grown up. He said, no, I'm not confident to leave this place. I don't think I'll be able to pull it. So it's called as comfort zone. When somebody is a small baby, they change the diaper, you have seen. Imagine somebody is wearing a diaper at 25 or 30. How funny it will be. So we are supposed to grow through life, not just go through life by coming out of the comfort zone. This is another big menace of the mind, which is imagining negativity. So I have a video, probably I can show that. Just a minute. So as I saw this fellow, there are people who too much imagine negativities in their lives. Because of that, they punish themselves unnecessarily. Like for example, night when you lie down in your bed, do you go to sleep immediately or it takes you an hour? That will go to show whether we are dreaming. Some people are not even dreaming; they are wide awake also, constantly bothering, worrying. Do you know the fact that there are two times of the day when your mind is very soft, like wet cement, when you can supply inputs to your mind? One is the time when you go to sleep. Another one is the very early morning hours, the 20 minutes as soon as you get up in the morning. These two timings are very important, and either can design the inputs to your mind, or by default, your mind is going to have wild dreams, which are very negative inputs to the mind, which will actually aggravate the negative situation in the future. So it is better for us to design. So generally, what we do while going to sleep, we hear some very soothing song, devotional song. We hear or chant some mantras. We hear. So hearing that, you should go to sleep. Similarly, rise early in the morning. The first 20 minutes are very important. Some very good inputs you give, affirmations, positive affirmations. The plans for your development in your life. Those things should be supplied in the early morning. Otherwise, the negativity gets otherwise multiplied in these timings. So, uh, you see, we have so many preconceived notions about people, which often we call as fossilized perceptions, we call it. Why we call it fossilized? Because we refuse to change. It's not that people remain the same. Over the years, they grow. Many people grow out of their limitations also. But we have seen them 10 years before. We remember that this fellow was like this. And we imagine that they would have never changed at all. Because of that, we can never connect with people, and we remain enemies for life, foolishly. We can actually come out of that, and we can actually make friends with others if we can come out of this negative notions. So there are many things like this in the mind. Uncontrollment can do many things. See, people lack confidence, they get depression, loss of trust, hypertension, so many different things. People either commit suicide to oneself, or to cleavage from the family. So all those things happens, and the result of that, you see, all these different things are due to uncontrolled mind. So, so actually, human beings become so powerful. It's considered the crest jewel of all the species of life because he can control even the lions and the elephants. It's a fact, we have seen it. At the same time, humans have failed to control their own mind. So you will see that all the modern day evils of society, they have the root in these three things, which are called as the gateways to hell. Like like in India, at least in two occasions I remember, those who did gang rapes were shot, and severe punishments are being given for those who do gang rapes. But it comes from lust. Similarly, you see, those who are doing criminal activities, it comes from the anger. Those who do money scams, scandals, and all, that comes from the greed. So these three are actually like three viruses, we can say, in the mind, which make the individuals lag in life. Why do you say lag in life? LAG, you can remember, lust, anger, greed. Lust, anger, greed makes us lag. We can't lead in life. We tend to lag because of this. So what is opposite of these three? Opposite of lust is pure love, which is unmotivated. And opposite of anger is peace. Opposite of greed is satisfaction. So we will talk as we proceed how to cultivate those things. So because of these viruses, people are splitting their hair and people go crazy. So therefore, this topic of the mind is very important because we have enough problems in our mind to deal with. So the second theme, I'm talking about distractions because many of you sitting here are students in the college. I'm sure that you would want to be very focused in your subject, whatever you do. And if you are very focused, you are going to achieve a lot. in a very short span of time. And if you're not focused, you will see that no matter how much hours you spent, it's not the number of hours that makes you great. What kind of quality of attention you gave to the subject, that matters the most. So some people have actually a very rapt attention. You will see people put a cubicle. You've seen that in a cubicle, people sit and they can hours together. They can read a book. I have one of my colleagues in Pune. You give him a bulky book, he just finishes in like a day or two. He can finish it. He's a very fast reader, and once he gets into the book, he can throw away his watch and forget the lunchbox. He can just get into it fully. I used to tell him, I wish I can catch up with my reading like you. Because sometimes we think I'll read in a computer. You go to your computer, soft copy of the book, and then some pop-up comes, you get distracted, isn't it? So this is talking about distractions. This is needless. This picture doesn't need an explanation. You know better than me. So there are good number of distractions nowadays. Of course, there are simple distractions here, as it is shown here. Like the student is studying in the room, but he is watching somebody playing some baseball or cricket, somebody out, some friends are playing outside. So his mind starts flying. Now he thinks, let me go and play for a while and come. Anyway, there are 2 more days for the exams. He's thinking like that. Or he may start playing the same game in the video. Some people do that instead of going. Or he may be just thinking, I am not playing, they are playing. He may be wasting his time not studying. So therefore, any activity you do, you need your mind also for that. For example, if teacher is speaking in the class, I need my mind along with my eyes and ears to hear what the teacher is saying. Otherwise, I can be physically present, mentally absent. Is it true or not? Isn't it? So sometimes we get distracted by gossip, or sometimes we get distracted by, I think she's saying that going on speaking and that fellow has gone to sleep, I think, that fellow. Yeah. So these are all distractions for us. There are more serious distractions like hatred or anger or fear, phobia, or watching some dirty things on the screen. So they can be more serious, and there are more dangerous distractions, like some other things are shown here. So these are distractions are very harmful for the health. Substances, putting them into the system, can be extremely harmful. So here is a class full of students who are very focused. You can see them, isn't it? They're attentive students. They're hearing with focus and concentration. It's like pouring oil from one bottle to another. It requires concentration. Otherwise, it'll spill over otherwise. Or like welding a rod. I come from mechanical engineering background, so I have given this example. I believe some of you will appreciate this. Because in welding, you need to take it close, but not too close. If you take it too close, you'll get stuck. If you are more than 1 millimeter, it will not weld at all. It has to be very close. So you have to be very attentive. So I used to take off my hand shield and try to see close. My professor would come and say, no, you have to see through the glass because otherwise it will harm your eyes. So it used to be a little difficult for us in the beginning. Gradually we learned it. It requires concentration. This is a very classical example of one great warrior hero in India called Arjuna, who shot the eye of a wooden bird successfully. And how could he do that? Because his teacher was asking all the students, what do you see? Somebody said, I see the forest. Somebody said, I see the tree. Somebody said, I see the branches. And somebody said, I see the wooden bird kept on the tree. But when he was asked, what do you see? He said, I don't see any of those things. I just see only one thing. I see the eye of the bird. And the teacher told him, hit it. Then he hit exactly, he could hit the spot. The same thing was told by one very great winner of, there was one tightrope walker who walked across the Niagara Falls, from one end to another end successfully. Of course, he didn't fall and die. He survived. So they asked him, how could he do that? He said, my eyes were fixed on the end goal and I didn't see anything else. So that is an example of a very good concentration. And that concentration is somewhat like this, what you see here. Even if you put a paper on the rooftop on a hot sunny day, it's not going to burn. But the same paper inside a room like this, you draw the diffused sun rays from the window and you focus it on a paper like this at focal point, it's going to burn it, which clearly shows us the fact that diffused rays, they cannot have the intensity to burn a paper. But when they're collected and focused at a focal point, then they can burn. Similarly, what's happening with our mind? Our mind often has worries of the past, and we also have fears of the future. Worries of the past make us think, if only I got a little more marks in that particular paper, I would be more happy. If only I got a good job which would have placed me with a good salary, like my friend, it would have been nice. So if only our mind keeps talking about things which already are things of the past. It just keeps going over and over again, ruminating on that. Or the mind is worrying about the future. Hmm. It talks about what if I don't clear this paper. Like one student told me when I went to Pittsburgh, he said he has to clear one particular paper. If he wouldn't do it, he won't be allowed to continue the course. He will be asked to quit the course. So he's in great tension now. And there are other students who worry about intern. In January, February, they worry about intern. If you don't get internship for the vacation, summertime, what will happen? Because if you got internship, that's considered like meritorious thing, isn't it? And then you are also likely to get placed in the same company too later on. So, and those who are graduating, they are also worried in case they didn't get placed at all. They have worry. So we can see that we always think about the future, which is not very certain, which is not very controllable, which is not in our hands. So we worry too much about it. So in the Gita, this is one very important subject: how not to lament about the past, and how not to have fear of the future, and how to just keep our mind in the present and go on with our duty. And what convinces a person to do that, I'll tell you. It's a question of intelligence. Ask yourself when you sow the seed, God has to give the rains. You can't bring the rains. Some people think that by artificial rains we can get a good rain shower. In South India, they did that. They blew the clouds and they put silver cyanide, hoping that there'll be a big rain pour. But they got only 3-4 bottles of water, that's all. And they spent crores of rupees. Therefore, one of our very famous writer, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he wrote an article, Artificial Rains, Imaginary Gains, Real Pains. Because you can't get artificial rains. You can only sow the seed. The rains have to be ultimately given by him. You can only give an interview. The panel has to choose you for the job. You can only write an examination. You can't correct the paper. Some invigilator, somebody else will correct the paper. So whatever is in your hands, you worry about it. Whatever is not in your hands, use your reasoning to understand it is not in my hand. Then why bother about it? Yeah, forget it, isn't it? So then you will be able to keep the focus. Our mind is like a bird which flies with 2 wings. What are those 2 wings? Past and future. Because of that, the mind flies away. We are not able to concentrate on things. If you clip the two wings of the bird, past and future, it will come to ground level. Then you can focus very nicely. So tell yourself that the past is gone. Past is a history. Future is a mystery. And the current moment is like the down cash right in your pocket. You can use it well. Because the past cannot be changed. The future is not very certain. We don't know. So do put your attention on the current. Look at this class, a very poor teacher. This happens in most of the schools. Children playing with the gadgets nowadays, and such a high-level distraction you see. So our 2 big distractors are eyes and the ears. You will see. So see here, there are 6 kind of urges that are mentioned here. In this, one very great writer has said this, that if you control the 6 urges, you can become leader of the whole world. He says that in that verse. There's a Sanskrit verse which says this. So the first one he talks about is useless speech. Why? Your tongue and your mind are connected. How? Whatever you speak, your mind becomes filled with that. Mind is like a blotting paper. You take a ink pen and keep it on the blotting paper, it just spreads like that. It spreads. For example, when I'm narrating something from Mahabharata, Ramayana, or any other literature like that, I have personal experience that our mind becomes filled with those characters, the qualities of those characters, their activities. And if they are sublime, if they are pure, then your mind also becomes pure. And if you are going to talk about some rubbish things, then it is going to become putrefied. So therefore, what we talk is very important. So 5 types of talk are considered, not very valuable. Useless talk, useless argumentation, debate, fault finding, blasphemy, or gossiping, rumor mongering, bad mouthing, leg pulling, backbiting, all those things. So that kind of talk actually is draining the mind. Also telling lies also. If you tell lies to somebody today, say to one friend you tell one lie, another friend you tell another lie. Tomorrow when they come to you again, you have to ask them, what lie I told you yesterday? So that accordingly I have to deal with you. Therefore, speaking truthfully keeps your mind peaceful. Speaking lies will make our mind tense. So controlling the speech. And another thing he says, mind's demands. That's what we are talking in this seminar today, second one. And the third one is the anger. Anger is one letter short of danger, it is said. So one should be very mindful because anger has caused wars, anger has caused cleavages in family. And similarly, the tongue also. Tongue, belly, genitals are in one line. The tongue, belly, and genitals. So if tongue is controlled, belly can be controlled. If belly is controlled, genitals can be controlled, which means if these 6 urges are properly answered and one doesn't become extravagant, then actually one's focus is attained very easily. One gets a sharp focus. Okay, till now I was talking about distractions. Now I'm going to say something about the emotions. Individually, let us assume you are in a room, you have bolted the door and sitting alone. There are people who bolt the door of the room and they are weeping also alone due to some unhealthy comparisons with their friends, peers. So and so got such and such thing and I could not get it. I am useless. These kind of feelings are low self-esteem. So people suffer. Or somebody told them something in a party, somebody ridiculed them or laughed at them. And they just didn't retaliate back. But when they come to your room alone, then they are thinking about it and they may be weeping also. So there are many emotions. Individually we suffer. And what happened? Is it going to come? Yeah. And also collectively, when we are dealing with others, we have interpersonal clashes. These two are the biggest problems with our mind. What's happening? Is the wire is shaking? Is it? Okay, it's coming now. Yeah. See, there are so many emotions, you see. So we all go through these emotions. And do we have to bother about these emotions? Definitely yes. Because with different people, when you interact, different type of emotions arise in your mind. With some people, you have a pleasant exchange. With some others, you don't like exchange. With some people, you see them and want to run away. So you have different type of relation with different people. At the same time, this world is so created, you cannot run away from certain people. Imagine tomorrow you have to work under a boss, who is a very aggressive tycoon, who is in the mood of turning out results through you, and he gives you many last minute assignments. You may feel like giving a punch on the nose and running away. You can't do that. You will lose your job. So we have to control our emotions, surely. So therefore, individually and in interactions also, we need to individually, for example, sometimes we are in a happy mood, good luck. Sometimes we are in an unhappy mood, isn't it? Sometimes you're confident, sometimes overwhelmed. Sometimes you are discouraged by friends and others. Sometimes you are encouraged. Sometimes you are healthy, sometimes you are sick. Sometimes you get a A grade or a F grade. So this world is designed in such a way that we undergo these dualities. Everybody faces this duality sometime or the other. So in the Gita, Lord Krishna says that be prepared for this. Don't expect that life will be a bed of roses always. That's not going to be the case. Prepare your mind to face both types of things. In case things didn't go well, learn some good lessons from it, and then you forget it. Can we commit mistakes? The answer is yes, provided you are able to learn from the mistakes. Can I commit mistake again? Yes, but only a new mistake, not the old mistake. So in this way, keep learning. Life is meant for learning and growing. Sometimes business may be skyrocketing, sometimes nosediving. Yeah. Mm. So in this way, also life is becoming more tense nowadays. Too many things to do. You don't know how to fit everything within your day many times. So in such a life, sometimes we find the time of calm. We would like our life to be like this, but life is always not like this. Life is sometimes like this. Hmm. There's a time of calm, there's a time of storm. Yeah. And this was all about individual dealing with our own emotions alone. Now I am showing you some slides on dealing with other people. Look at these two pictures. You can see some significant difference between the two. Hmm? What is the difference you see here? Anybody? Simply by observing, you can say that. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. First team is not a happy team because it seems that the leader is imposing something on them, or not listening to their opinions and ideas, I think. Second team is a very happy team, isn't it? So which means in our interactions with colleagues and our team members, we can have a team like this or a team like that. We have the choices depending on how we deal with our mind. Similarly, within family also, sometimes when parents want to raise a child, parents have difference in opinion how they want to raise a child, and which school they want to send and all that. Sometimes forcing one opinion on one another is unhappy. All these things are due to the mind. So, to understand the mind, we have to know ourselves first. Who are we? So, someone asks you, "Who are you?" Naturally, I'm going to tell you a name, and we identify with the place of birth and identify with the family. Generally, that's what we know. Here is one Dr. Harry Monson from Illinois College of Medicine. He says that these are the contents of your body: uh, for calcium, phosphate, potassium, sodium, magnesium, iron, copper, iodine. This is what you are made up of. This body is made up of. He says, and and he says these are the chemicals in the body. It's just INR, Indian currency. It is just 110 rupees. He says. Anybody can become offended by hearing this. Am I worth so less? Is this personality good for nothing? So one can think seriously, am I just a bundle of chemicals or is there any more higher dimension to life? So, you see, this is one very famous actress from South India, Sri Devi, who became later on a Bollywood actress. So recently, 3-4 years ago, she passed away. After she passed away, she looked like this. So when someone passes away, you find that the bodily beauty is lost and the body starts stinking within 3-4 hours, and then you naturally, either put it in a coffin and bury it or you burn it. Correct, no? Even the relatives do that. The same relatives who might have embraced and kissed someone, once the body has, the real person is gone, they say the real person is gone, they don't know who is the real person. In the Gita, Lord Krishna talks about the spirit is the real person. Otherwise, everything else is there. But feelings are missing, thinking is missing, desires are missing, movement, consciousness, everything missing because the soul is gone. The soul, in some parts of the world, they call the soul a spirit, they call it. But a spirit soul. So just as you all talk about energy, energy can either be created nor destroyed. Energy disappearing in one form, reappears in another form without any loss again. This is conservation of energy, material energy. In the same manner, spiritual energy also. The soul is spiritual energy, spiritual spark. It is neither created, it's not destroyed. It leaves one body and goes into another body. And it is immutable, it's never destroyed. It goes from one situation to another. And such a living spark is there in any living body. You take a tree, you take a dog, you take a cat, you take a human, you take aquatics, you take the birds. Wherever you see living symptoms, the living spark is present. And what is the difference between that living spark and this dead matter? Because the dead matter has no consciousness. Like many of you are sitting in chairs now. Imagine if chairs were persons, they would shout at you, "Why are you sitting on my head?" Correct, no? They have no consciousness. They have no and not only that, this chair is never going to grow. But the living bodies grow from childhood to youth. They grow. Now you all have grown up now. Your bodies are all like a small baby, right? Now look at you. You have grown up now. So matter doesn't grow. It remains like this and crumbles into powder. That's all. Also, living bodies can reproduce. A male and female can come together and reproduce a baby, whereas dead matter can never reproduce. Have you ever seen a desktop and laptop computer coming together and producing a palm top? They can never reproduce. So you can see clear-cut differences between living body and dead matter. So now we will not go into the depth of that. We don't have time for that because we are talking about the mind now. So here is a soul, the yellow one, and the soul has two components, mind and the body. And the soul is like the spirit, which is different from the body. Now here is a simple example given for you. Say the computer hardware is like the body, and the subtle body is like a software. Mind is like the software, and the soul is the operator of the computer. So is this example easy to comprehend? Like when I was a mechanical engineer in my college days, I used to use a CNC machine, very big machine. So there used to be a microprocessor there. I can type in that, programs for linear, rotary, and all that. And then servo motors will move in those directions. So it was very easy to operate. We don't have to work too hard in that. You just give the command in the microprocessor and then it moves the servo motor. Similarly, my mind is a microprocessor. Here I have all the desires stored. Accordingly, my hands, legs, everything moves accordingly. So I have a desire to play a piano. That desire is stored in the mind. That's why I've shown here. You are not your body or the resident of the body. Here I have shown here, see. The soul has mind. In the mind, you store your desires, plans, and memory and everything. That's what. And then the body is meant for executing it. Say, I want to play a piano. I go to the market and buy a piano. With the hands, I play piano. But in the mind, the desire is stored. So now, why are we talking this? I will tell you. See, you are the yellow one I showed you, divine soul, mind. You are not the mind. But every one of us sitting here, you are completely pure, completely divine. You are never adulterated. Whether you are in the spiritual plane or you are in the material plane. The soul is always pure. But the soul becomes covered by the mind, which can become impure. Just like, for example, one of you while coming into this hall today, let us assume that you walked with your socks on wet ground, and then when you came into the hall, the socks started stinking, for example. Of course, now nobody's socks is stinking now. I'm just giving an example. So everybody will plug their nose and say, hey, who is the fellow stinking? The fellow is not stinking, his socks is stinking. Similarly, the soul is always divine, but it's covered by a mind which is sometimes covered with different impurities, like I showed you now, a few minutes ago. But the good news for all of us is, just as the socks is washable, cleanable, mind is also washable. Mind can be cleansed also, brought back to its pure situation. So now, okay, now can a mind be a friend or is mind an enemy? Like you see, mind has a double role. Look at this boy. He has a good behavior, like as a gentleman. Other times he goes wild, he goes berserk. The way he behaves, loses temper and he may throw things. When people are very angry, they yell very loudly. And if they're even more angry, they raise their hand also. And if they become even more angry, they kick with their feet. In this way, the anger gets externally manifested. The internal anger gets externally manifested like that. So one may behave like a crazy fellow. So we have two sides of our personality. We have angel-like side, and we also have an animal-like side. So as we blossom in our consciousness more and more, we have to bring the angel out of us. And the animal should be driven out so that we can behave like an angel. That's a goal. See, here is a very nice analogy given here. Indriyani paranyagur indriyebhya param manaha manasastu parabuddhir yo buddhe paratastu saha. Arjun, the working senses are superior to dull matter, and the mind is higher than the senses. Higher than the mind is the intelligence, and the soul is even higher than the intelligence. But the soul is an odd man out in all these items. Why? Because the soul is spiritual. All the other previous items are material. The soul is like the driver of a car. See, for example, in a car, there is engine, there are tires, there is horn, there is radiator, there is axle, there is brake, there is clutch, everything is there. And the driver is also sitting. But driver is the odd man out, you agree? Why? Because driver is living, every other part is dead. Similarly, senses, mind, intelligence, they are all dead matter. Even in mind and intelligence in and of itself, they cannot do any work. They only work because the soul is present in the body. That's like if I put my hand inside the gloves and I move the gloves like this, the gloves appears alive, gloves is never alive. Because when I take the hand out, the gloves will fall, drop down. Similarly, our body and mind are acting because the soul is present. So that's what he's saying, the soul is beyond all this. So the mind is like an unidentified flying object because it can't be seen, but it makes its presence felt when we go against it. You can see that. Yeah. Yeah, this is another thing. All of you, how many of you experienced this? In your solitude, sometimes you're talking to yourself. You will see that the mind is talking to itself. Like we say auto-suggestion or auto-talk. Many doctors, psychologists, they tell people, negative people, that you give auto-suggestion of something positive. Something good is going to happen to you. Feel blessed always. Be confident. So they give many auto-suggestion mantras they give. The whole idea is we have a tendency to talk. Some people too much negatively talk and hurt themselves. So on the contrary, the spiritual path teaches you to give auto-suggestion of something very positive. Like one such mantra I will tell you. Sarve janaha sukhino bhavantu, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhavet. You know what is the meaning of this? May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous become tranquil. May the tranquil become free. May those who are free set others free. That's the meaning of this. It's a universal prayer for the welfare of all the living beings in the world, irrespective of caste, creed, color, nationality, gender, anything like that. So we should wish well for others, and we should also pray that we walk the right path. This kind of auspicious input should be given, and one should not talk negatively. Yeah, and the distraction already I told you. It thwarts our desire and determination, the distractions. Also, we are in a dilemma many times in making decisions. We are confused. All these things are in the mind. We get many desires also. Look at this purchase, how they are doing. Stop and shop until you drop. Yeah. You see the dreams. Yeah. We all have experience of dreams. Sometimes we lie down in the bed. So it's all in the mind, you see. The mind thinks 20,000 thoughts a day. You can see. Therefore, it's a very important subject, you see. So this is all drama of the mind. The external expressions, what you see here, they are all arising from the mind. Yeah. So, is mind a friend or enemy? It's like a knife, you see. Knife can be used by a surgeon who can save someone's life by cutting the belly. He's doing some operation, he's saving someone. Or it can be used by a criminal who may misuse it, isn't it? The very same knife, you see. Like you see, the elephant, is it good or bad? The top ones are all bad elephants, you see. They are very deadly. And below you find these are good elephants. You see? They are giving blessing. Actually, I have this video where the elephant is slowly drawing an elephant. It takes time to show that. Therefore, I made it faster now here. Yeah, I have the video with me. Yeah, not only one elephant. They have a dozen elephants drawing elephants. Yeah, that video shows. Actually, slowly it draws, very beautifully it draws. Not only the elephant draws flowers, which means the good news is that the elephants are trainable. They can be trained to do drawing, which requires a lot of creativity. You see, that means they can have concentration, they can have focus, and they can give blessings. They can carry, in India, they carry God on processions on the back of elephant also. So why our mind is compared to elephant? Because you can walk the elephant on a road. Can you ever walk a lion on the road? Or a tiger on the road? Can you walk? You cannot, but elephants can be walked. Therefore, mind is compared to elephant. And the elephant is also very powerful, very mighty, you see. So Arjuna says that mind is like an elephant. Mind is also like a wind, he says. Very difficult to control. So we feel as if pushed by the mind many times. Yeah. So in the Gita, Lord Krishna says, in this way, what the mind does, people who fail in controlling the mind, when they leave the body, then the mind takes them to different bodies, different species of life. And at the time of death, what happens? The gross body lies down, the spirit soul comes out, covered by the mind, and in the mind we have multiple desires to be fulfilled, which are unfulfilled. To give shape to those desires, the soul enters into those bodies. And then it goes from one body to another. So,
all say 1, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and last number is 10. You, you're good boy. Give me answer. 6. 1 plus 1. 3 plus 2. 5 plus 1. 7 plus 1. Now, give me answer. 5 minus 2. 5 minus 1. 5 minus 4. 6 minus 3. 7 minus 4. 8 minus 4. 10 minus 3. Very good. Good.
see, every single calculation, adding, subtracting, how perfectly it did, isn't it? So do you think a dog can be trained like this? If you can train a dog, America would be the first country to train them right now. You see, in America, what they do with the dogs,
The school buses arrive on time, but it's the dogs that go to school. The dog heard the commotion and dashed out the door. He looks forward to this moment every day. Next, you'll find out why they're in such a hurry to get to school. It's not just that. Every student loves this school. They'll find their own seats when they get on the bus. Teachers will fasten their seat belts. So what's a new student to do? Just give him something to eat along the route and find a new seat. The students will say hello to each other. Hello, why are you ahead of me today? When all the students are on the bus, the teacher will call the roll and give each student a snack. It's a tribute to their good behavior. The school's program is very rich. Students lined up to enter the campus when all the dogs are here. And then comes the moment they've been waiting for. It's like they've got a turbocharger on them. Dash into the pool. Have fun in there. But there are many dogs who don't like to swim. The school district provides them with a free-range area. The facilities are very rich. After 1 hour of free time, the dogs are starting to learn. In the classroom, they learn how to make less trouble for their masters. It's noon, and the students are back on the bus after lunch. The teacher will take them out into the field. Getting dogs close to nature keeps you in a good mood all day long. This is a great school.
That's all. This is the only training they have given till now to the dogs in the schools. How to cause less trouble to masters. That's all. So, generally, you will see that there is not a single example across the world where anybody has trained their dog to count mathematics plus and minus. Show me one. You will not find. Then how did that dog learn? It's just simply a simple dog in Lucknow. Right from childhood, it is doing mathematics. That is because if you see from the Gita point of view, some mathematics teacher has got into dog's body now. The soul in the body. Somebody has done some blunder, in the next life they become a dog in the next life. Some impressions are carried by the mind, in the mind. I will show you another one, deer in the forest of Vrindavan. This is just 1 minute video. So it's written in Hindi there. What they mentioned there is this deer got wounded in the forest, so they brought it and they nursed it, and they left it back in the forest. But again, the deer came back to them. It became so attracted to the singing and dancing with others. How any animal can have this kind of feelings for the kirtan and taking part in it? It is carrying something from the previous life. You can see that. So I showed you two examples, one positive and one negative example I showed you. Somebody going to the animal body and suffering in a dog's body, but carrying some scripts of mathematics. Similarly, this deer is carrying some spiritual scripts of attraction to kirtan and everything like that. So in this way, the mind is the one which carries, like the example is given in Gita of the wind. The wind carries fragrance, or sometimes it carries some bad smell. Both are carried. So we all are carrying good and bad from the previous lives. And when we are born in the next body, and this is something so scientific that it gives explanation to why somebody is born with a polio attack when one is a small baby, isn't it? Because baby hasn't done anything wrong. One may feel like that. But the soul in the body of the baby has been in some other body where the bad account is being carried over to the next body. In this way, you will see that some are born in rich family, some are born in poor family. Now onwards, I'm going to give solutions from this slide onwards, dealing with emotions. So how do we deal with our emotions? I showed you many emotions today. So how do we respond and not react to situations? So react means, acting instinctively. And responding means thinking before acting. That's the main difference between the two. So what is the advantage in thinking and speaking and thinking and acting? There's a very big advantage in that. And human beings can do that. Generally, animals act by instinct. Like in India, they put a rat trap to catch a rat, So sometimes the rat will see some eatable hanging in a rat trap. It will just instinctively run inside. And then the rat trap will close. Because animals go by the tongue. As soon as they're attracted, they run. But humans can think, why have they put this? If I eat it, what is the consequence? We can think of the consequences. So if we don't think of consequences, then we suffer the bad consequences. Like I know one true story of one president of a company. He had some little ego tussle with the vice president. They both were trying to prove to one another that I am right, you are wrong. That went on for just about 10 minutes. And the vice president became very angry. He resigned from the job. And he joined another company just across the road, which was a rival company. And he took all the secrets from this company and then implemented there. And this company had crores of rupees losses in India. So this president was, very morose after that. He was thinking just a small tussle, it led to a huge loss for the company. So this is in the business. The same manner in families also. If everybody is in a proving mode, imagine if a husband and wife are in a proving mode, sometimes they develop hatred for one another and the family eventually experiences a separation. So instead of proving mode, we have to come to the improving mode. At least one out of the two should think about improving. So that's what is responding. Responding means, okay, let me find out how I can do better next time. One should think like that. Otherwise, our decision-making process, our mood, everything is affected by our mindset. So here I've given you two words. self-awareness and self-management, social awareness and relationship management. So now what is self-awareness? You go outside your body and look at yourself, what type of person you are. Am I selfish or am I selfless? Am I angry or am I peaceful? Am I understanding or am I unreasonable? So we all have to think about what type of person I am. And then in case people are telling me to modify my behavior, I should be ready to. And that is actually self-management. I manage my emotions. Here you see in the picture, I think this fellow is a little upset, I think, the bottom fellow. And the middle fellow is depressed, I think. And the top fellow is very cheerful fellow. That's a very nice example. So one can be cheerful anywhere. You see, there is I heard the story of Socrates, who was a very great philosopher, but his wife never liked him talking philosophy. But then the friends liked him speaking. But then one day the wife was yelling so much that Socrates told his friend, let's go to the park today. So when they were about to leave, when he came out of the house, she took a bucket of water and threw from the top. And his whole body became drenched in the outside road. Can you imagine? How would you respond to that? Huh? So Socrates laughed and told his friends, till now the clouds are rumbling, now they are pouring. Like that he said. So one can take it lightly. He was very, very self-managed personality. And social competence is what? Social awareness means you also know the mindset of colleagues working with you. This friend of mine is like this friend is like that. This person may lose temper anytime. I have to be careful in dealing with them. And this person is very friendly and jovial. And this person is slow to do the job. This person is fast to do the job. This person is dependable, trustworthy. This person is not so loyal, not so dependable. So you should be able to study the mind of different people around you. First, you study your own mind, modify your behavior to be favorable to everyone. Then you study the minds of others, and then you do relationship management with them accordingly. Okay. So therefore, you can learn to tolerate the discouraging comments. You won't get overwhelmed, and you will know how to make priority. All these things will happen if you do self-awareness. Like for example, this boss doesn't know what is the right time to correct. See, he's correcting in a public place. Therefore, we say glorify in public, chastise in private. Like that we say. He is actually correcting in private. Look at the other fellow behind this one. Look at him. He is thinking, I may also get similar thing another day. And look at that girl behind. She is laughing at him because she is working in the same office. She knows. And this fellow is very upset that somebody is laughing, somebody is. So that means here is an example of very poor social awareness. Correct, no? So on the left side is a good example. The boss knows, even if this fellow is not so competent, he is encouraging him. He's telling him, go and get trained nicely for 3 months and then do the job better. And that lady is not happy with the performance of the fellow, and she's telling, you are not competent to do the job. But the way she tells doesn't seem good, right? Would any of us want to be corrected like this? Isn't it? So how do we deal with our emotions? There are 5 things said in the Gita. There's one famous verse. I have not put the verse here. Mana prasada samyatvam maunam atmavinigraha bhava samshuddhirityeta tapaha manasa muchyate. For the mind, there are 5 austerities, he says. What is the meaning of austerity? Austerity means it's a little trouble you should take. If you take that little trouble, you will get immense rewards for that. That is austerity. For example, for joining Stanford, I'm sure you all might have done good amount of homework to come to this level of studentship in a very glorious institute like this. That is called austerity. Is it not true? Similarly, in the path of managing our mind also, we need to do certain austerity. The first austerity is cultivate satisfaction. Don't make unhealthy comparison. Practice gratitude. See what you have in your life. Like all of you, think for a moment. God has given you in hands, legs, eyes, ears, nose, your whole complete body has given you. There are people who are blind. There are people who are deaf. There are people who are lame. So if you have complete body, be grateful. Then think about the family in which you are born. You are born in a good family, good parents. You got good education also. Now you are in a very high level education now. Be grateful for that. And think about the good friends you have, good parents you have. Think about the good association you're getting in this club also. Priyanka madam is putting up such a beautiful activity here, and then many others, other friends are like-minded, birds of the same feather flock together. So be grateful for that. So if you look at your life, there are so many things you can be grateful for. And focusing your attention on that will make your heart very blossom very nicely. And you will feel the satisfaction. But people generally don't do that. They always see he has that and she has that and I don't have that. Therefore, I am, my life is useless. They think like that. So first one is about satisfaction. And if you turn your attention to reading spiritual literature like Gita, Ramayana, and all those things it is mentioned, because they teach you this very important aspect of satisfaction. Satisfaction is not complacency, by the way. Complacent means one doesn't take an initiative at all. One is a lazy bum. That is not what we are talking. Satisfaction means you do your endeavor. At the same time, don't be greedy. Second one is silence. Manaprasada samyatvam. Pythagoras said this. He said, speak fitly or be silent. Like that he said. If you can speak something beneficial to others, you can present something useful in a very cogent manner, nice manner. Study the sacred literatures and speak something usefully to other people. Otherwise, don't waste your talk by gossip or rumor mongering and all those things. Because I told you already, mind becomes calm when you keep silence. Like Buddhist monks, you must have seen, they completely keep silent for, some of them keep silent for years together. But if God wanted us to be completely silent, then why did he give us the mouth? So therefore, silence is negating the negative. But we should use the mouth for a positive, constructive purpose. Like we sing songs in glorification of God. We also use our mouth, like I'm speaking some knowledge or wisdom I'm sharing with you, which will benefit all of you from sacred literature. So we can use the mouth constructively, but we should not use it in a negative way. Same with our ears also. We can hear, something which will actually uplift our consciousness. We should not hear those songs which will degrade our consciousness. Same thing with our eyes also. There is in India they have three dolls, three monkeys. The one monkey is closing the two eyes, another monkey is closing 2 ears, another monkey is closing the mouth. Basically, those three monkeys teach you that what you should not be doing. Don't see bad, don't hear bad, don't speak bad. That is correct. But that's not the end of it. The right thing is to see the right thing. Like, for example, in the temple, we go to God and see God and we bow down to Him. We hear about His glories. We hear His songs. With the mouth, we take prasad. You don't have to close the mouth, close the ears, close the eyes. You have to negate the negative, but you have to do something positive also. And simplicity is opposed to duplicity. Actually, duplicity causes lot of complexity in the mind. It is always, you will see that small children, they are very excited and very enthusiastic in their life. You must have seen. Wow, look at this flower. Hey, look at the rainbow. Hey, look at the waterfalls. They are always very excited and they are always in the present. How many of you observed that? Correct, no? Whereas as the child becomes adult, look at their face, they become very morose. Why? Because they take too much tension. Then what about the tension in children's minds? Don't they have any tension? They have given all the tension to parents. Similarly, God says that, hey, you give your tension to me, I can take it. God can handle infinite amount of tension. But unfortunately, we think that God doesn't know enough about me, we think. He knows more than what we know about ourselves. So, simplicity means not hatching any plots against anyone. And we should never harbor any malice towards any living creatures in this world. Even if somebody spoke sometimes harshly to you, you can think in your mind that maybe that person is not in a good mood today. Maybe something bad happened to him. He's just downloading his sorrow on me. You can think like that because people sometimes circumstantially behave badly, but otherwise they are good people. You know what is circumstantial bad behavior? Occasionally some people behave little erratically. So therefore, we should not hatch any plots to hurt anyone. So we should not be duplicitous, we should be simple. And that duplicity also includes fault finding in others and talking about one person to another. Like say, for example, two students, They are in the same class, they are good friends. Somehow some misunderstanding came in their mind. They don't talk to each other, they talk about each other. You've seen that? Like A talks about B to many students. And then similarly, B talks about A to many students. And then both A and B come to know that many people are thinking ill of me because this fellow has told bad about me. But they don't talk to each other. So very simple thing, what you have to do, you just go to that student and say that, I heard that you are not happy with me. Please honestly tell me, what would you want me to modify in my behavior? What hurted you because of which you are speaking like this? Please don't talk to anyone. If you want me to improve, you please tell me. You are my friend. I am ready to take in, some good suggestions from you. Don't go and talk to other people. So talking in an honest and straightforward manner will keep your mind very simple. And the next one is self-control. Actually, self-control has 5 components. A match formula. How can you match with God, to dance with God or play with God? M stands for mercy, A for austerity, T for truthfulness, C for cleanliness, and H for holy name. So mercy, we should not unnecessarily kill the poor creatures for our taste buds, unnecessarily other creatures. So generally, you will see that all the world religions tend towards minimizing violence to other creatures. Even though some religions allow eating of meat and other things, but they ask one to minimize. You will see that, for example, in Islam, Muhammad says that if you are in an area where you are in a desert or something, you don't get any plants, vegetables, then one may eat meat. Also, it is said that in Quran there are 2 words used, halal and haram. Halal means you purchase an animal and cut it into 8 pieces in a mosque, near the mosque, and 7 pieces should be given away in charity. Only 1 piece can be eaten. Imagine I buy a cow in say $80,000, for example. The $70,000 I have to give in charity. Only $10,000 worth I can eat, which means there's a discouragement in eating. You understand the point? There's a discouragement because some people cannot give up. There is a discouragement. One should minimize it because we eat and animals also eating. We are sleeping, they are sleeping. We are reproducing, they are reproducing. We are defending, they are defending. They are also like our younger brothers and sisters. We should not unnecessarily hurt them. That is mercy. And A for austerity. Austerity means what? No intoxication. Intoxication like smoking, drinking, drugs. It gives you an instant relief. It takes you up. Therefore, many students, whenever they are in tension, they smoke a cigarette or drink liquor. But then it brings you down, not to the zero, brings you to negative. And then you wonder, my Lord, I am feeling low spirits now. Take one more cigarette. Again you go up. Again it brings you further down. Then you take 1 packet of cigarette. The next time you take 2 packets, 4 packets. Then such a person is called as what? Chain smoker. If he's a smoker, he's a chain smoker. If he's a drunkard, he's alcoholic. If he's a drug eating fellow, he's called as drug addict. All of them bring us to the stage of addiction, and they are very, very dangerous. We should not put those substances into the body. Already we have enough trouble in the body. Why to give more trouble? Isn't it? So that is the second one, A for austerity. Don't take any intoxicants which are harmful to the body. Put very simple, nice foods which will easily digest, and you can have a hale and healthy body. Third one, T for truthfulness. No gambling, no quick money. Right here in UCLA, one South Indian called Rajaraman studied. So he made very quick money by shares and other things. You all know that. He made, you put $10 and you get $10 million. People multiply money very quickly. But then when the economy of America started crashing down during the recession time, this fellow, he killed his 1 wife and also 3 children, I think. 2 daughters and 1 son. He shot them all. The whole house was in a closed condition. 1 week it didn't open at all. Later on the police came and found out. So you can see he was a very educated man. He studied in UCLA. He's a chartered accountant. Made a lot of money. Very successful fellow. Billionaire. But then from billionaire he became beggar. Of course he didn't become beggar. He came to middle class. But you can see that that is because of the kind of business people do. They make quick money. They will also loot, cheat. Many things will happen in that. One should avoid that. And then C for cleanliness. Cleanliness means one is allowed to marry in a sacred tie, husband, wife, and produce children, and then live a very God conscious life. But one is not allowed to connect without marital connection. But nowadays, living together is approved even in India. What to speak of America? So many students argue with me sometimes. Even in India, it's allowed. Why not? Anywhere, anybody can stay with anybody. Yes, you can stay, but in case the partner leaves you tomorrow and goes and lives with somebody else, because some tussle happened between you, you will never feel the emotional stability in life. You'll never get the security in life. Like myself, I come from a family. My father passed away at 84 years of age. My mother was 80. Even at 84 and 80, they were so friendly, jovial, and joking with each other. They were both very godly, very happy family. It's not that there were no tussles at home. There were tussles, small tussles occasionally. But they had a very deep relationship, I could see. And we all grew as happy children. And because they both were united, even though they would have tussle, but they would stay united all life. We lived a very happy life, very joyful life. When you come home, mother will be there. And mother and father, we never had changing mothers or changing fathers, which is the plight in many families. If they have divorced, the children suffer a lot actually because of that. So therefore, cleanliness means no sex before marriage or no sex outside marriage. That is cleanliness. And no illicit sex. Then lastly, Hajj for holy name. The Hare Krishna mantra. The mantra in any religion, you will find. I have seen in one prayer room in an airport, there was a Muslim who was chanting namaz. There was a Christian who was chanting Hail Mary or something. And I also sat next to them. I also chanted my mantra, Hare Krishna mantra. Everybody, actually every religion teaches you to have the rosaries in which you chant, you develop tolerance, you develop patience, you develop humility, you develop gratitude. You develop that inner strength and stability to face the challenges of life by chanting. And it actually cleanses the mind and calms the mind. So that is self-control. And lastly, sanctification of one's existence. This will only come by selflessness. We should always think of others. Unfortunately, modern day society is a me civilization. I, me, mine, I, me, mine. People think about themselves. Like look at the trees which give mangoes. They don't take any dollars for giving mangoes. You look at the clouds which shower rain. Look at the sun which gives sunlight. Look at the wind. All the God's creations are all giving you everything selflessly, freely. So we think of others' welfare, then our mind gets more sanctified. These 5 S's you can remember. Satisfaction, silence, simplicity, self-control, and sanctification. This will actually help us to deal with our emotions very effectively. So, can I take 10 more minutes? Is it all right for all of you? Is it all right? Where is Sundaranand Prabhu? Yeah. So now I told you about handling emotions by those 5 S's, and this is purifying habits by feeding and fencing, you see. You see the yellow one I have shown you is the soul, and the red one I have shown you is the mind. The soul is pure, always, I told you. Like the red band you see, like that we have acquired bad qualities. Like a rainwater is pure in the sky, but when the rainwater touches the ground, it becomes muddy, right? Similarly, the soul becomes covered by the mind, which is impure. Like for example, here you see, there are many, many impure habits that people get into which makes one suffer. Therefore, 2 things are said in the Gita as a solution. Feed your mind with good, clean, pure, powerful, and positive habits. And like this, for example, study your mind as a detached observer. Observe your mind, and then you can understand what are the wrong scripts in the mind, how to cleanse it, we can think about. Rewire the mental networks. Switch off the switch off the faulty circuits and discipline it. Like horse is going in wrong direction, therefore they put an eye blinder, correct, no? So the horse will go straight. Make the mind walk the right path. And here Lord Krishna says that begin with the sense control. Like here you see a person is pulled by his senses, multiple senses. And wherever he should not indulge, like the tortoise is withdrawing its senses. That is the example given in Gita. Whenever there's a danger for the tortoise, it withdraws the head and the hands and legs inside. and shows the back. Back is very hard, so nobody can damage the tortoise. And when there is no danger, the tortoise is not idle, it's progressive. It keeps moving forward like that. So we also should use our senses in the right direction. And for example, I can use my mouth to eat nice, healthy foods, but I should not eat poisoned foods, isn't it? In the same manner, I should not put substances into the system which damage my body and mind. I should take pure things. In the same manner, all the senses, eyes, nose, ears, everything. And also the mantra meditation, chanting on the mantra meditation purifies the mind and calms the mind. Okay? Yeah. You see, it takes us to the yellow zone, 8 to 13 cycles per second of the brainwave frequency. If you go above 13 cycles per second, it becomes red, which is passion, and then it takes us to hyperactivity. It's very dangerous. In Japan, there are some reports that in the shop floors, those who crossed 24 cycles per second, they have died on the spot due to super hyperactivity. It's called as Koroshi disease, they call it. So going very high hyperactive is bad, and here is drowsiness, and this is sleepy zone. So this is a very ideal state where you are relaxed and greatly alert also. So that is achieved by you when you chant the Maha Mantra, which I showed you. Yeah. Slow down to speed up. Actually, just like athletes, they stand behind and then they run fast. Is it not true? Similarly, marathon runners also run slowly in the beginning and then they catch up speed later on. Similarly, in life, we should have time for everything. Like you need time for the family, you need time for the profession, you need time for, meditation on God. So you need to allot your time. Nowadays, the money-making business has become so much that people do 2 to 3 jobs they do nowadays. They don't have time for their own health. They don't have time for the family. So therefore, slow down and make a balance in life. Okay, what are the things we have to fence our mind from bad, unclean, impure, weakening, and negative inputs? So what you are going to feed in the mind, that will come out later on. Garbage in, garbage out. So, for example, in the modern times, the Netflix has so many sharply defined videos, high quality videos. Similarly, all over the world, so many YouTube videos are being produced. But many of those videos, the subject matter and the content, very, very dangerous content, deadly content, in terms of spoiling the thought process and awakening the lower instincts, like sexual appeal and criminal activities, political activities. Those things are being aroused. So that's considered garbage because it's very dangerous. Later on, it's going to come out of us. If you give good input, then actually good outcomes. It's called the GIGO principle. So these are the things you should think about. Whatever books you read. There was a detective novel which was published, after which 10 murders took place. And the police found out that all the ideas came from the book. Then they banned the book. So students, when they read such books, eventually they exercise whatever books they read. So we can read books like, for example, Chanakya Niti, Panchatantra, Hitopadesha, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. These are all literatures of Sanatana Dharma. Similarly, in all the different religions also, you find there are many good instructions given, wisdom literatures. So the books, movies, music, the type of friendships you keep, these are the things. So starve bad habits, supplement good habits, stay away from tempting environment. Okay? Yeah. So this is called 3S formula, we call it. So by starving bad habits, the bad habits will go away over a period of time. But you have to substitute them with positive good habits. Actually, everything begins with early to bed and early to rise. Sleep early, rise early, do meditation in the morning, strengthen your inner consciousness. Here I have given any good habit you want to cultivate. These are 3 steps. One is, if the watermelon is very big, cut it into slices. That's the first one. Little by little you can do it. Okay. And the second one is, have a role model in your life in that field who is extraordinary and you admire the role model. And the third one is the peers. Associate with those with good habits. You can very easily cultivate any habit in this world. So strengthen your discriminative intelligence. This is a very easy one. Is the smartphone helping you to serve your purpose, or we are becoming a slave of smartphone? Smartphone swallows our time. So Nowadays, many teenagers are terribly suffering from, wastage of time with the smartphone. So we should be able to say no to smartphone, especially during examination time. So how much control you have over yourself in saying no to smartphone, especially when you have a very important duty. For example, I was doing one very important work. At the time, some pop-up of emails came. Then I just went to the email. I clicked it. Just wanted to see what it is. And my 1 hour was lost. You all have experience of this? Similar thing? So we have to have some control to, that urge should be controlled. When we are doing any work, we have to be very focused. We should not become helpless victim. How many phones this fellow has? How many? 3 are there. So therefore, this example is given in Kathopanishad. See, the horses are compared to senses, ropes to mind, and intelligence to driver, and the soul is the passenger. So if you make the driver strong, the intelligence strong, then he will control the mind and senses. For making the driver strong, what we have to do? How do you make them strong? So you need to study Gita like literatures. Literatures which will give you discriminative intelligence. Discriminative means what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what not to do, what is short-term benefit, what is long-term benefit, what is a smaller picture, what is a larger picture. That is discriminative intelligence. We are not talking about IQ. In Mensa society, people with 162, IQ also, they may not have discriminative intelligence. Discriminative intelligence comes from spiritual intelligence. Look at this driver. Is he having any control? Most students have a situation like this nowadays. So therefore, we have to strengthen the driver and cultivate sattva, mode of goodness, think before acting, how to introspect and modify your current pattern of working. So sometimes we are not happy with the way our life is going. You feel that I don't have balance, I am overworking and things like that. So then sit down, take a paper and pen, and then think deeply. And how can I modify my life? Make a small modification. Don't try to make a large modification. It will lead to rejection. Make small, small. Even the Kaizen system in management teaches you that you should make small, small improvement. If somebody is smoking every day, then smoke every other day. Somebody is quarreling, once a week, make it once in 2 weeks. So try to make small modification. So here is a example of a long story cut short. A man went on his horseback along with his dog to forest for a picnic, and then after his lunch and everything, he went for trekking and everything, and he came back. While returning back, the dog was going in front of the horse and not letting him go, barking continuously. He was wondering why my dog has gone berserk. He took his gun and shot the dog. Then he returned home. But on the way, after 10 miles distance, he realized his wallet was missing. When we went back to the tree, sure enough, he found the wallet there under the tree. The dog was touching the wallet, and with a bleeding mouth, the dog had died. So he picked up the wallet and counted the money. Everything was proper. Then he sprinkled water on the dog and tried to get the dog back to life. Do you think it can come back to life? It was too late. That's the meaning of passion. Passion means people, they go for snap decisions. If you go for a snap decision in life, you will regret later. On the other hand, there's another example of Newton, you see. Newton had 5 years of research papers kept on his table. His dog, by mistake, toppled the candle, and all those papers were burned down to ashes. And Newton had gone for a walk. When he came back to the room, he saw everything ablaze, and he cried. And he looked at the dog and scolded the dog, "You foolish dog, what have you done? You burnt all my 5 years of paper. If somebody else might probably shoot you down, but I won't do that," he said. Why? Because even if I shoot you, the papers are not going to come back. So he thought, and then he acted. So compare these two stories of this passionate fellow versus Newton, who was acting in goodness. So from this, you can draw a conclusion that in life, don't make a hasty dash. Always think twice before you decide. Even what I do generally, when I have to make some major decision in life, I first make a plan, and then I consult my equal friends, and I consult my seniors also when we are coming up with something new, because others' suggestions will also help us. We should not make a hasty dash. Yeah. Also, when you are in an angry mood, you should not decide anything. You can just write and keep it. You can say, "I will tell you next week." Next week, your mind will change. And mode of ignorance, see here is a family, they had a financial debt, and the man lost his job. So he thought that, I may not be able to give back. So this fellow committed, he actually gave poison to all family members, including himself, and everybody died. It's a recent one. So this is ignorance. Ignorance means cowardice, making wrong decision in life, not able to decide. No thinking, no action. Blindness. Ignorance. So all these time wasters I have shown you, they are all either in passion or ignorance. See, never setting any goal or in life and not sticking to them is actually ignorance. Moving around socializing too much to feel security, what is it? Ignorance or passion? Actually, wanting to become popular is passion, but wanting security means ignorance. Lower level of concentration, getting easily distracted with trivial things, passion. So like that, I've given you many like this. All these are time wasters in our life. This is how we lose our time in our student life also. So avoid passion and ignorance and cultivate sattva. Okay. So sattva means thinking and acting. Passion means partially thinking and snap decision. And ignorance means no thinking, no action. Lethargy. So yeah, ideal visionary leader means you have to combine these two qualities, sattva and rajas. See, sattva, makes the passion managed. Like passion can be compared to a flood, whereas sattva is like a walls built around the flood in order to turn it into a dam. So which is having energy, dam or the flood? Which has energy? Yes? Dam has energy, that's all. Flood doesn't have energy. Flood has kinetic energy and dam has potential energy. But out of the two, which is constructive, which is destructive? Yeah? Dam is constructive. Flood is destructive. So passion is destructive. And when you add sattva to that, it becomes constructive. That's why I've shown these two circles. Sattva and rajas, when you combine, like for example, rajas is like Chandragupta and sattva is like Chanakya. When you combine them, then a powerful leader comes out. Like rajas is like Shivaji Maharaj and sattva is like Samartha Ramdas. When you combine such a saint guiding a king makes the king a visionary leader. So that's why one should combine sattva with rajas. That's why Raja Rishi, I have shown the word. Raja means rajas, passion. Rishi means sattva. When you combine these two people, then a powerful leader comes out. Okay? That's it. We have concluded. Now last part is very easy, ABCD. You can see this. A for association, B for Bhagavad Gita, C for chanting, D for diet. You can remember this. Like you are all already having good association here every week. Come once in a week for such programs. And then B is books that strengthen your discriminative power, shape your wisdom body. C is the chanting. Chanting actually is most vital activity. If you really want to cleanse your mind and strengthen your, mind also. And D for diet, you all already appreciate prasad. This doesn't take much effort. Anybody can appreciate this. So wonderful, no? Isn't it? Somebody still argue that, okay, this prasadam is very wonderful, but do we get adequate proteins? Will I be strong enough? People ask. Therefore, I have shown this one. Because elephant is also a vegetarian. So elephant is a strong animal or a weak animal? Yeah. So you can be vegetarian and still be very strong also. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry to delay you. It's a little long session, but it's worth it to consider all these things in our life. I talked from the point of view of emotions. I talked from point of view of distractions. And I told you the problems as well as the solution also. I can be here another 5-10 minutes. If anybody wishes to ask me any personal questions, they can ask. Okay. And this is my email ID. If anybody wants to ask me, write questions to me, you can write. You're welcome. Only reply you will get in about a couple of weeks. You will get week or two. I reply almost 60 mails a day. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Radheshyamji, for an amazing session. And for all of you, just a single line. Every Saturday, we conduct such programs. It's currently we are running a series called as Gita Wisdom Series. And I would encourage all of you to come on a regular basis. So next quarter also, this quarter, every week, every Saturday, we start around 7 o'clock when you have dinner, and the session starts from 7:30 to 8:30, and we end on time. Thank you.
I can be here around another 5-10 minutes. Anybody wishes to ask me anything? You heard many things today. Or you wish to speak any reflections, any of you? Would like to say something?
I just want to say thank you so much for the talk and sharing your wisdom with us. It was very helpful, I think, especially for a group that's under a lot of stress and pressure and needs the focus. So I think there's many great takeaways, but I think the importance of learning to control the mind and learning to focus. So thank you.
Thank you. I can leave the PowerPoint with Sundarananda Prabhu, who comes here. If any of you wish to go through it leisurely, you can do. I speeded up a little bit today towards the end. But if you go through it leisurely, there are many takeaways for you. Only thing is we may know what it is and we have to start implementing them. At least making a slow step-by-step plan to implement them. And it really is very, very helpful. Amongst them, the last ABCD I told you, that is very rewarding. You come in this type of program weekly once and read Bhagavad Gita 1 page a day. How many of you have a copy of Gita with you? You have Bhagavad Gita, you have a copy? Okay. Just 1 page a day. 5 minutes it takes you. And chant one round of Mahamantra. Round means 108 times. Like we have rosaries with us like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So like this you chant 108 times, okay? That will take you about 8 to 10 minutes it takes. And devotional diet, Prasad is always available. You are most welcome. Very easy. So this ABCD you can remember. This is the most important takeaway. And the other things are also there. But if you do these 4 things regularly, the other things will eventually come. Like Gita, if you're reading, implementing the Gita, all those 5 S's I told you, satisfaction, simplicity, all those things will come. And Srila Prabhupada, he presented this philosophy in a very non-sectarian way, in a very secular way when he came to the West. Srila Prabhupada, I heard one lecture, he said, if anybody feels that you don't want to chant this Hare Krishna mantra, you want to chant your God's name as given in Bible or Quran, you do that, he says, because ultimately the ultimate God is only one. Not that there are 3 or 4 gods fighting for the post. There's only one capital God, whom you call as Yahweh, you call him, or Allah, you call him, or Krishna, or Rama. There's only one capital God. So, and then he says that you take inspiration from this program and go and practice your religion if you wish to do it. And Prabhupada had no objection to that. He presented in a very pure manner. Because the soul present in every body of all the religious people is similar in quality. And similarly, God, what Prabhupada is teaching us is the relationship between soul and God. And it is common for everybody in the world. So, and the mind is a very vital thing to deal with. If you deal with the mind nicely, you can be happy yourself and you can spread happiness to others also. Otherwise, the same mind can, like I told you, mind can be a friend or an enemy. Let us make mind our good friend. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna. So I live in a place called Pune in Maharashtra. Although I was born in South India, last 30 years I am in Pune. So any of you come to India, you are very welcome to our ISKCON Pune. You can go to Google and put ISKCON Pune. There is a very beautiful big temple, Radheshyamdas, a very nice temple. You are welcome. I stay generally in Pune for the first 2 weeks. 3rd week I go to Hyderabad. 4th week I go all around India and to different places. America I come twice in a year. I come in January, February, and I come in September, October I come. So, and in this email, in this, in this website, which you see here, Radheshyamdas.com, if you go there, in the top, you'll find newcomers. You just click the newcomers, you will get many free YouTube courses there. Very easy to understand, okay? You can go through at your leisure. Thank you. Hare Krishna.